I've been an animal welfare advocate for over 30 years, and I can tell you there are very, very few gains. Sows are still in farrowing crates, hens are still in cages, but the greyhound industry, now that is an opportunity for people who have a concern for animals to improve, to in fact ban greyhound racing in Australia. The Greens believe that greyhound industry has no future, not only because of live baiting and blooding, not only because of export to Macau, to a place that doesn't have the animal welfare considerations that we have, not only for the electric cattle prods in the starting gates to get the animals to run faster, but because of the enormous wastage in the industry. Between 40 and 50% of pups who are born never make it to the racetrack. Now, what happens to them is anybody's business, but we know that mass graves have been uncovered, and we know that the industry in the past has not adhered to the animal welfare regulations as set down in legislation. Greyhounds are actually considered livestock. They're not considered animals in the way that our pets are, which is something that the Greens want to change, and something that we believe people in Australia want to change. The last Essential research poll showed that now over half Australians want an end to greyhound racing. Now, the poll prior to that one had a 16 to 20% of people who didn't know and didn't care. Now, because these issues have been highlighted, they do know and they do care, and they want to see an end to greyhound racing for all of the reasons that we do. Pups are being born with no value and with no future. At most, they've got 2 to 3 years of racing and then a decade of finding a forever home. Now, we've seen the growth of greyhounds in our suburbs and towns in Australia. We've certainly seen it in Tasmania. And that's just a tiny portion of the amount of greyhounds who need to find forever homes. Take Phoenix here. He's come from New South Wales. He was a racing dog, and Mel believes that he was blooded and live baited, and that they have had to train that out of him. But they have done it. He lives now with chickens in the property that he stays at, and no problem. I mean, it was a bit rough going to start with, but they have trained him to be able to live with other animals, and that is essential. So we need to breed less greyhounds, so the ones that we've now got can be taken care of in Australian homes, but we also need the greyhound industry to know that it's on notice. It is on notice to end this cruel and barbaric, what some call sport. I believe it's entertainment. It's based on gambling, so it certainly doesn't have the best interests of the dogs at heart. But we do want an exit package. The Tasmanian Greens in our alternative state budget allocated funds to be able to allow trainers and breeders to exit the industry in an orderly fashion over 5 years. We don't believe it should be banned overnight. That is cruel to the people who work in the industry, perhaps less cruel than the way they've treated, some of them have treated their dogs in the past.